welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking a Cryptic, where today we're going to be taking on something that's not really a Sudoku. It's called a Nanro puzzle, and it's by the constructor Myxo, of whom I'm a huge fan. This puzzle's been recommended to us by Glumhippo as being an absolutely brilliant puzzle, so we trust Glumhippo. And this this means we're going to attempt Myxo's puzzle, which I think has an enormously high approval rating on Logic Masters Germany as well. And I have, in fact, I've just found out, done a Nanro puzzle or two on the channel before, but not for many years. So 3 or 4 years ago, I did a couple of videos about Nanro. And that I think was the last time I did a Nanro puzzle. So it's not exactly a puzzle type that I'm very familiar with. But I hope I'll be able to get through this. I've read the rules and I think I do understand them. So it shouldn't be a completely novice attempt. But we'll see in a moment or two when I'll read the rules out properly. What do I want to mention before we kick off today? Firstly, I'd like to say thank you to my friend Kieran, who sometimes watches the channel and with whom I've been spending the most delightful day on the south coast of England, in Sandwich at Royal St George's Golf Club, one of my very, very favourite courses in the whole world. So Kieran, thank you very much for hosting me today. I really did enjoy it. And then that's one bit of news. Second bit of more Sudoku related news. Check out this puzzle. You must do this puzzle, Rockin' Foggin' by James Sinclair. It's been going gangbusters over the last couple of days. We made a video of it on Wednesday, and it's the funniest title in Sudoku history, and it is a puzzle that is replete with as much panache as you can get in a Sudoku. So you must have a go at that. I've got a couple of birthdays to do, actually. Let's do those. So Patricia, it's your birthday today, and I know this because your husband Ulysses wrote to us. What a wonderful name that is. He also said, by the way, Patricia, that you are the light of his life, which is, well, that must be nice to hear. And I hope, Patricia, you have a brilliant day today, replete with enormous amounts of chocolate cake with the correct ratio of icing, 1:1, of course. And also, it's another birthday, a 24-year-old birthday today for Salvatore, I think better known to his friends as Sal. And I know it's your birthday today, Sal, because your girlfriend Sarah wrote to us. And she says that the two of you spend quality time together solving Sudoku puzzles that feature on the channel, which is a lovely thing to hear. And she also said that you weren't looking forward to turning 24. Sal, really do not worry about that. If my next birthday was my 24th birthday, I would be as happy as a clam. I'm not going to tell you what my next birthday is. It's a it is a properly depressing number. I'm not having 24-year-olds telling me it's depressing to turn 24. But Sal, I hope you have had a very good day today, of course, with lots of cake. Now, that all said and done, why don't we have a look at Nanro and see what Myxo has constructed for us? I will read you the rules. They are as follows. We've got to label some cells with numbers to form a single orthogonally connected group of labelled cells. Okay, so we're going to put numbers into cells. So basically that's what that's telling us. And then the numbers are going to form one single orthogonal group. Now, what does orthogonally connected mean? It means connected across an edge. So these two cells, I'm not going to do numbers. Let me just do colours. Those two cells are orthogonally connected. These two cells are not orthogonally connected because they only touch each other at a point, and that's not enough to achieve orthogonal connectivity. No 2x2 group of cells may be fully labelled, so we can't do that. That's not going to work. That's going to break the rules of the puzzle. Each bold region must contain at least one labelled cell. Okay, fine. So we have to put numbers into every bold region. Each number, including any given numbers, must equal the total count of labelled cells in that region. Right. Now, I think what that's saying is that within regions where we have numbers, you couldn't write a 6 into the corner of the grid here, because these numbers are supposed to say how many labelled cells there are in the region. So all the numbers in that region have to be the same. So you're going to have to put more 9s into this region. And in fact, well, you're going to have to put 9 9s into this region so that the numbers that you've put in reflect the number of digits that are in that region, if you see what I mean. And there's only one more rule, which is when two numbers are orthogonally adjacent across a region boundary, the numbers must be different. So what we're not going to be allowed to do is to say put 9s in both of those squares, because if we do that, that's crossing a region boundary. We've got the same number in both, and that's not going to work. So get expressly against the rules of Nanro. That's all. So do have a go at this. I know it's a bit different, but we have it on good authority. This is brilliant. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. I think what I'm going to do first, actually, is all the numbers are basically what we're being told is all the numbers form an orthogonally connected group. So I'm just going to highlight all the numbers I've got in the grid with the colour blue. So we'll put blue for numbered cells, and then unnumbered cells will make another colour. I haven't decided what that will be. It'll probably be green or yellow. Okay, let me go back to the rules. Label some cells with numbers to form. Okay, we've definitely not formed an orthogonal connection. Oh, I've seen something. Those two cells. If those two cells were numbered, they would have this number, because this region has a 4 in it, so it's got 4s in it. And that would be 2 4s across a boundary. So those two squares are going to allow us to determine our second colour, and our bichromatic colour is going to be, I feel like yellow. Oh yeah, I definitely think yellow. Yellow is better today. So we're going to have yellow and blue as our two colours. No 2x2 can be fully labelled. Well, that's fine. Okay. Each bold region must contain at least one labelled cell. So, right, so we get to write 1s, don't we, into those two regions, because well, they have to be labelled with a number, and that number has to be how many cells in that region are labelled. So they're gonna have to be 1 because they've only got one cell in them. So they both turn blue. Right, so there's going to be something, isn't there? Do we get to write 2s into these then? Is that fair? Because we can't write 1. Am I allowed? Can I put a 1 there, for example? Or is that against the rules for some reason? Each number. Oh, you can do that, can't you? So if that was a 1, and that was yellow, and that was blue, that would be correct. And this 1 would not be connected to that 1 across a boundary because it's sort of further away from it. Right, so this region is either a 1 here. Well, okay, I think what I am allowed to do then is I am allowed to blue this cell. Because either the labelled cell in here is a 1, in which case it can't go there and it would make this blue a blue 1, or it's a 2 and both of those are blue. So that's always blue, we just don't know what it is. That's a 1 or a 2. No, I was about to put yellow cells there, but that's total and utter nonsense. Oh dear, get your head in the game, Simon. Now, can I do the same for this one? Is it the same logic as that one? If this has a 1 in it, that 1 is there. If it's got a 2 in it, it's those two. So that one is always blue, and that is a 1 or a 2. Ah, hang on. Well, yeah, here's a thought. That 3 in the corner has to get out. By which I mean it has to connect to all the rest of the blues in the grid. So it's going to take one of these two squares, but it still won't have got out when it takes one of those two squares. So its third cell is going to be that one, or that one, to achieve connection. So that square is yellow, I think. Yeah, I mean, if that's blue, you can't get the blue out because it's never going to orthogonally connect to its friends. We've only got six possible cells in that region for 4 blue cells. You see, I think if you were good at Nanro, you would know what to do. And I don't. I mean, I can see there's an absolute plethora of places around this grid where I can't have connections. It's probably some sort of clever connectivity stuff going on. So yeah, I mean that might be a sensible thing to do. So however the connectivity works overall in this grid, you can't connect this region to this region directly because they're both 9s. So across these boundaries, you couldn't have two 9s, is what I'm saying. Yeah, okay, I think I am going to do that, so I can at least see where the boundaries are in the puzzle. So what we should do is go to the pen tool. We want to use green, or should we use, maybe we just use blue. Or we could make it really exciting. Let's use red. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll say there is no opportunity to connect through that junction there. That junction. That would be 2 9s, wouldn't it? That junction, that junction. The 4s can't connect to the 4s, so that cell can't be connection. You can't have 2 digits across that boundary. All there. Oh yeah, look at the top. You've got that would be 2 9s. That would be 2 9s. That would be 2 9s. That wouldn't. That would be a 4 and a 9. That would be 2 9s. 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 Nori nori. That would be 2 9s. Okay. Right. What has that done? What has that done for us? It has meant. No, it does. I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to make it difficult for one of these regions to connect. And it's mildly difficult. But I mean, for example, the top region. How does it connect to the rest of the grid? Well, it could connect through here, or it could connect through here. I'm not sure. I think I'm doing this wrong. I think I'm doing this wrong. I'm so sorry. If you're a Nanro professional and you're watching this ineptitude. Yeah, see again, the top right region is really penned in. But it has choices. It could get out through here, or it can get out through here. I suppose it can only get out through here if that one is... Oh, no, and it can get out through there. That's not true. It can get out through there as well. What are the rest of the rules? How do we actually do the puzzle? Oh, no 2 by 2. Ah, no 2 by 2. I haven't thought about that very much. Well, that's... I mean, there's a good reason I've not thought about that very much, and that's that. I don't have too many blues that are close enough together to worry about it. Okay, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 12 blues. It's no good. So I was wondering whether, if, for example, this region had been 10 cells large, I can see you can't put all 9s into that 2x2 because that would be impossible. That would break the rules of the puzzle. So one of those would have had to not be blue, and then the rest of the box would have all had to be blue in order to reach a count of 9. But actually this is a 12-cell region, so even noting one of these is not blue, that only reduces the count to 11, which has got degrees of freedom. And it looks at first blush, I mean, I've not done a competent count of these 9-sized regions, but they all seem to have quite a lot of flexibility. I mean, I can easily see there's a 3x3 there, so there's 3 extra cells. There's a 3x3 there, and there's 4 extra cells. There's almost a 3. That's a quasi 3x3 if we move that one there. So there's extra cells there. Yeah, that's got 12 cells as well. So Bobbins McBobbins face is what we now utter in terror at actually the fact that this could be an early abandonment, because I just feel a bit lost here. I'm not sure that I think I should have done some revision on how Nanro works. Well, I've got one more thought I've just had, which is that maybe I've got to consider the 9s together. So if I look at the top region here, that region, and that region together, you know, those 4 cells, for example, they can only have 2 9s in them, can't they? Because I can't put 2 9s here. So there's 1 9 there maximum, 1 9 there maximum. So by combining regions together, you can reduce the degrees of freedom. Yeah, that's the same there, look. In fact, that is a bit suspicious. It's suspicious to me that I keep seeing 2x2s now. There's lots of little 2x2 areas that can only contain 2 9s. Alright, let's do it. We'll do a count. We'll do a count of the whole... Well, how do we do this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, we've got 5 regions in the grid that each contain a 9. So each of those regions needs 9 9s. So there are 45. We've got to put 45 9s in the grid. Now, the maximum number of cells, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right, this is a 12 by 9 grid. Actually, I'm not sure. I think I'm just going to have to do this the slow way. All right, so that's 12. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 12 and 10 is 22. And 7 is 29. And 5 is 34. And 3 is 37. No, that's not in, is it? And 5 is 42. And another 5 is 47. And another 7 is 54. And another 7 is 61. Right, so let's just... What I'm saying is that there are 61 cells of 9, well, which could have a 9, but I'm only putting in 45 9s into those 61 cells. Now, what we could say, I think, is that for each of these X'd dominoes, maybe we draw a little line across them. these cells here, these crossings. Ooh. Well, I think, yeah, okay, I don't think I can draw another crossing there, can I? Because I've already counted that one of those has to be in. So I think that X sort of loses its potency. That is a crossing that can't have a 4 in it. Those two are 9s. I've got to be careful here as well, because I only want to count the ones that are linking 9s together as being impossible crossings. So we were at 61, weren't we? So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right, so there are 11 dominoes in this grid that can't have 2 9s in, they can only have 1. So that reduces our max count of 61 by 11 to 50. But I think we can do better than that, because for the remaining cells in these boxes, I can't just willy-nilly fill them with 9s. Whenever I say willy-nilly, by the way, I always think of Under Milk Wood by Dylan Thomas, where one of the characters was called willy-nilly. Oh, now I'm thinking about the curlew, the Arethusa, and the Star of Wales, tilt and ride. Right, get your head in the ground. What are you talking about, Simon? Right, so now, where was I? I was at 50. I'm about to count 50, but I can't yet. I'm willy-nilly. That's where I was. That's where my brain was. Yes. So, for example, if we look at this box down here, I can't just fill all those in with 9s, because that's going to create a 2 by 2 of 9s. I'm not allowed to have 2 by 2s of 9s. So there's going to be more reductions that are possible from my max count of 50. Bobbins. I was thinking I could get rid of that one. I can't get rid of that one, because if that was a blank, it would deal with the possibility that that was a 2 by 2. So yeah, so this one actually you get no extra reduction in. I can stop there being a 2 by 2 in that one simply by using the sort of Christmas crackers I've drawn. This one's interesting though. I've still got to make sure. So what I mean is I can't put 9s into all those squares. If I do that, I'm going to create a 2 by 2. But if that was yellow, does that deal with all possible 2 by 2s in this box? Well, it doesn't. I mean, all the ones that aren't on Christmas crackers anyway. It does, doesn't it? Okay, so this box with 1 yellow. Well, this box needs 1 yellow outside its Christmas crackers. So that reduces our max count from 50 9s in the grid to 49 9s. Now down here, again, I can't put 9s into all those squares. But the problem here is I could do 1 yellow in one of those 2 squares, and that reduces, that eliminates the possibility of there being a 2 by 2. So I only get 1 degree of freedom dropped for this box as well. So 1 here, 1 here. So I'm down to 48 as the maximum number of 9s. Right, but obviously I can't write 9s into all of those. Problem is, again, if I just write a yellow in there, that ring of 9s doesn't have a 2 by 2 in it. So again, I only need 1 yellow to destroy all 2 by 2s in this box. And now I'm down to 47. So I've only got 2 degrees of freedom now. So this box is perfect. Yes. Okay. So this is useful. This overall Christmas cracker excursion has been useful because, yeah, it's very useful. So I've got, at the moment, I've only got I can put a maximum of 47 9s in the grid before I get to considering this box. Now, is it possible to put 9s in all those squares? Certainly not. That's going to create lots of 2x2s. So I need to put a yellow in one of those cells to stop that being a 2x2, and I need to put a yellow in one of those cells to stop that having a 2x2. So that's 2 yellows at least I need in this box to prevent 2x2age. And that means the maximum number of 9s I can put in this puzzle is now 45. And now we're away, because I really have to pack the 9s in. Yeah, I have to pack the 9s in. So this box is all 9s apart from Christmas crackers. All of those are 9s. I don't know whether do I need to put the 9s in, or shall we let's just go for blues, I think. Now this box I was allowed to put 1 yellow in, which was there. So all of those have to be 9s. This box, one of these could be yellow to avoid 2x2s. So these are all forced to be 9s. One of these is definitely yellow. This box, this box, we were only allowing ourselves 1 yellow, weren't we? And it was that one to avoid all 2x2age. So all of those were blue. And this box, well, in this box we said there has to be a yellow there and there has to be a yellow there, so those two have to be blue. But it occurs to me as we do that we can run that argument symmetrically. So that little 2x2 has to have a yellow in it, and that one does as well. So those two are also blue. And just like yesterday with the Hayawaki puzzle, we get a sort of dice 5 in this top region. But now, here's something interesting. That cell is a 9. So that cell, were it to have a number in it, would be a 9. So that cannot be a 9 and is yellow. But we know what each Christmas cracker we're putting 1 9. So that means that cell is now blue. And now that can't be a 9 because that would create a 2x2. This is just sensationally clever. Oh, why did I mean, it is sensationally clever, but why did I say that then, at the moment that I was just completely going to get scuppered? I don't know. Okay. Oh, well, okay, I'm going to take advantage of other things then. Yes, look. I've got to avoid 2x2, so those both turn yellow. So that is a 1. I will put that in, because there was options about this. But that's been forced to be yellow, so that's got to be a 1 now. That's got to be yellow, because otherwise that's a 2x2. That's got to be yellow, or that's a 2x2. So there are some places we're able to do things. Oh yeah, look at the top. This sort of comb shape, those two have got to be yellow. Is that useful? Don't know. Might be. Well, hang on. Yes, it is. If that's yellow, that's on a Christmas cracker, so that's blue. And if that's blue, this one's now yellow to avoid that being 2x2. But here, be careful, because that doesn't mean this is a 9, because this is on 4 Christmas crackers. And we haven't done any work on 4s yet, so we don't know whether this is forced to be a 4 or not. But here's a point though. In this region, I've got 2 yellows, but I need 4 blues, so I've got to put those are all blue. And now this must be yellow, because we know that's sort of turned on, so that must be turned off. Otherwise, we'd have 2 4s across a boundary. This is yellow to avoid a 2x2. And is this a 9? Yes. Yes, this is a 9 Christmas cracker, so that becomes blue. Okay, that's great. But What does that mean? That's yellow to avoid a 2 by 2 again. So now this 3 region's a bit packed in, isn't it? We've got to put 2 blues in those 3 squares. Well, okay. I think that means that's blue. Because if those 2 are both blue, this has to be a yellow to avoid a 2 by 2. And that has to be a yellow, because I've already got my 3 blues in this region. And I've got a little triomino there that's definitely not connected to its friends. It's a bit lonely. And that's not going to work, is it? So that requires this to be blue. And one of these is blue and one of these is yellow. Okay. What then now? I don't know. Oh, hang on, that's blue. Yes, okay, so we sort of had a tentative Christmas cracker that I never drew in between these boundaries. So if that's a 9 and is on, that can't be on as well, or there'd be 2 9s, so that's off, which means, but that means this Christmas cracker, which did need a 9 on it, needs a blue here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, I thought I had 9. I don't have 9, I've got 8. I saw that one and I got excited. I've got 8 blues there. So I can only put 1 more blue in the top region. Well, that might be interesting. I'm just going to count out, as Maverick flew past, sorry if you could hear Maverick flying past there. 7 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, this region at the bottom has got 8 of its 9. 8 of its 9 blues in it. That feels like I've got to be careful. Am I going to... Is this a checkerboard then now? Is that what that's... Yes. Right. Right, look at this 2 by 2. I think that has to be a checkerboard arrangement of blues and yellows now. Let me explain why. Only one of these could be blue. Oh, hang on, does that assume one of them's... Well, yes, okay. Assuming one of these is blue, it's a checkerboard. And that's because if whichever one of these you made blue, the other one couldn't be blue. But each of these is Christmas crackers, so the one you make blue is going to have a yellow opposite, and the one you make yellow is going to have a blue opposite, because we know that these are sort of on-off parities, aren't they? They're switches where one side is on, one side is off. So what I'm thinking is, if that's blue, because that forces both of those to be yellow, that blue is just straight away isolated, and that doesn't work. So this is not able to be blue. That's yellow, that's blue. I've now got lots of blue in this region. I've got 8. I'm only allowed 1 more blue in this region. Now this one, so one of these is completing. Right, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. So if this was blue, this one is complete. And if this is blue, this one is complete. So this Christmas cracker is completing one of these, either this region or this region's quantum of blueness. Okay. Which could be important, potentially. He says trying to work out why it might be important. If that's blue, that's yellow. I've not really thought about this top right region very much. I've got 6 in it now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this top region's got 8 in it. Ah, sorry. I'm sure there's a quick way we can resolve all this. I just need to figure out what it is. Do we have any 2x2 areas of the grid that we have to not make into useful stuff? Quite possibly. I don't know where though. If that's blue, you lose 2 yellows from this region. Oh, hang on. Am I not going to have too many? If that's yellow. Oh, yes. Here's a point. Right. When we did the count for this top right region, I allowed myself 2 yellows in this 3x3. That was all I could spare and still get 45 9s into the grid. Now, if that's blue, that cannot be blue because that would be across a junction 2 9s. So this would be yellow, but I still need another yellow in there to stop that being a 2x2, and that won't work. So this square is not blue, that's yellow. And that's Christmas cracker requires a blue on it, therefore. I've got the same point there, haven't I, in fact? In fact, the point is that once this becomes yellow, it simply must be blue. Otherwise I have to put a 3rd yellow into this region. So one of these is now, oh well, now I've got a 2x2 possibility, so that becomes yellow. That must be blue to connect this blue up. And now how many blues have I got up here? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 8, 9. I've got 9. Right, 9 in the top right. This is where the magic is. Now, what does this mean? It means that is yellow. And if that's yellow, its opposite Christmas cracker turns blue. And now that completes this region, which means that that's yellow. And this is blue, which completes this region, which means that's yellow, and this is blue. Now, that's nearly a 2x2, so this top purple has to be yellow. That's got to be blue. What's that done to this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So one of these is in, and one of these is in, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's the same. Okay, so that's checkerboarding as well. Yes, alright, so we can do this. So if this was blue, that would be yellow, and that would be yellow. And that blue in the corner would be isolated. So that's yellow in the corner, which means that's blue to complete this quantum, which means that's yellow, and this is blue. And then we have, I think, filled in all of our 9 cages, and it's an amazing idea, isn't it? It's by count, basically, trying to reduce the maximum number to 45 through logic. I really like it. I really, really like it. No, that has no friends. It needs to have a friend. We'll give it a friend. That completes the 3, so that's yellow. Now what do we do? Now, okay. Oh, right, I see. Well, I don't see everything, but I see something, which is that here, if we look at the yellow cells, that is a wall of yellow, isn't it? So this, oh, that's... Right, I'm just going to stare at this for a second, if you don't mind. Right. Right, Yeah, I see. This is more gorgeousness coming up, because if we stare at the left-hand blue stuff that I've just highlighted in the grid, and think about how it's going to connect to the right-hand blue stuff that currently isn't connected to anything. Where are its opportunities to forge that connection? And the point is, I think, that the way that forging happens is through the medium of this four area in the middle. That's what we're going to have to use to provide the connectivity of the left side of the grid to the right. Now, we've also got this wall here. So that connectivity has got to come across the top somehow. Well, how are we going to do that? This 4 hasn't got a friend at the moment. So I'm going to have to use a second blue cell in this region just to connect this to something else that's blue. So I could take that one, or I could take that one. But that means to achieve the connection of the overall blue on the left of the grid to the right of the grid, I've got a maximum of 2 blue cells to use to do that. And I've got to connect something on the right of this grid to something on the left of it. Well, there's simply only one place that can go, and that's there. There's no way you could connect this with 2 cells to the left-hand side of the grid. It won't work. You can just do it at that exact point, and look at what that does to that square. That means that square is not allowed to be blue. So that's yellow, but you haven't connected this to anything. How do you connect this to something blue with 1 cell to play with? It's got to be that. And that, look, is the completion of the 4 blue cells in the middle region. So have we finished the puzzle now? Well, no, we haven't, but we nearly have, because now if I double click blue, I still haven't. Now I've got a great big sort of baobab tree on the left that is not connected to this stuff down here. So it's got to come through there, and that means that is a 2, look. So both of those are in. There's still, actually, let's do that again, because I still haven't. In fact, I am going to create a baobab tree. Baobab trees are the ones that have 2 trunks, aren't they? Because this on the right still hasn't connected down to this 3 or down to this loop thing here. So that's got to be blue. And that is in the 3 region. So how do you connect this to its friends? That's got to be blue. And that's it. That's actually done the puzzle. Sorry, I didn't spot that. But that's done the puzzle. We've actually finished it. We should, I suppose, we'd need to put in numbers. I don't think the software is going to understand this, to be honest. Although, maybe with the magic of Sven, it says the solution is correct. I don't know how it knows that. I didn't think the software could test for shading, but maybe it can. Maybe let's put in a number there that's wrong. Yeah, it's not testing it, is it? So it's I don't think the software can test for this solution. I suppose if we're going to obey the actual instructions, though, I do have to put digits in, don't I? So let's just quickly do that so nobody can accuse me of not knowing the answer to the puzzle. These are all going to be 9s. These are all going to be 4s. That one needs a something. That's a 9. Look. I think every blue cell has a number in it. It'd be funny if it said that's wrong. No, it still thinks it's correct. All right, that is just absolutely magnificent, isn't it? What an idea! And I actually really like the fact that you could sort of find a way to solve it without much Nanro experience, just by thinking about connectivity and the way that you could combine regions together and limit the number of 9s in the grid. That's fantastic. Absolutely love that, Myxo. Really brilliant. And thank you, Glumhippo, for recommending it. So something a bit different for Friday night. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it. If you want to see more of this sort of thing, we would love to bring it to you. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.